into the week. We're looking at the weekend. It's just right around the corner. As you come in, you know the drill. If you are a part of the Aries crew, leave a hashtag Aries crew. If you are a first time watcher, leave first time watcher. I want to give you a shout out for stopping by and spending part of your day here. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Aries Rose, and welcome to Aries Rose TV. Here we talk a little bit about movies, streaming shows, TV shows, lifestyle, celebrity news, pop culture, world news, basically anything that I find interesting and want to talk about. We talk about that all here on the channel and a little bit of politics as well. And so if you enjoy that, come on in. We'd love to have you a part of the Aries crew. Just hit that subscription and then make sure that you hit that notification bell so you can find out every time that I go live, upload posts, videos, shorts, all that good stuff. So we got a lineup for you tonight. It looks like some of the live I recorded yesterday did not all get uploaded. So it's going to be some of the stories that I covered yesterday and some stories for today. So a couple things we're going to talk about. Southwest Airlines, they are eliminating their 2 free checked bags and open seating. So if you do fly with them, that was definitely one of the perks, and that's going to be going away here pretty soon. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. President Trump signed an executive order to start to dismantle the Department of Education. This is something people have been talking about, were worried about, wasn't sure if he was going to go through with it or not. And since Linda McMahon, who is the wife of Vince McMahon, who was the previous owner of the WWE, and that's the World Wrestling Entertainment. It was previously called, back in the day, the WWF, World Wrestling Federation, but that was a dispute, a trademark dispute, I think it was, or a naming dispute with the wildlife. Can't remember the other one, but they had that WWF first. So it switched over to the WWE, but he was the previous owner of that. Well, his wife, Linda McMahon, is the secretary over the Department of Education. So she was confirmed by Congress to be in that role. And so since she's been in there, and earlier this week, President Trump has signed an executive order to start to wind down and dismantle that agency. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then next, we are going to talk about 2 American astronauts who were stuck in space in the International Space Station for 9 months. They have returned back to Earth. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk about Jonathan Majors and Megan Good. They are married. We have a story on Marcus Jordan, the son of the basketball legend Michael Jordan. And then we have Miss Tina Knowles is responding back to Kanye West's comments about her grandchildren. We're going to take a little pause here. Camacho X6 money sign. Hi, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Planet Fairy, hello. Hope you're having a great day. Had a good week. Sir Toaster Oven the Great. Hope all is well with you. Thank you so much, Planet Fairy. I appreciate you. And if you have not already done so, we'd love to have you a part of the Aries crew. So just hit that subscribe button so you can make sure you can be on anytime I'm going live. You can see when I'm uploading videos, shorts, all of that good stuff. So first, let's talk about Southwest Airlines. So that is the airline that I like flying the most. And part of what's beneficial about flying on Southwest Airlines is their 2 free checked bags. So paying per bag, depending on how much you pack when you go on a flight, that could be pretty expensive. So it is nice to be able to get 2 bags for free without having to pay anything more than what your ticket is. I also like the open seating option as well. I mean, they did it by section, so I remember it being like A1 through 31, but you could pick the seat based on whatever was available when your section was called. So it was, kind of semi-open seating, I guess. But I still like that, and I think if you paid a little bit more, you could get into a higher level. Otherwise, you'd be in a lower letter that you might get like C or D or something like that. It's been a while since I have flown, but that was the last I remember of what they used to do. So the airline has announced that they are going to be getting rid of their 2 free checked bags. and they're not gonna be offering open seating anymore, and that's gonna be starting in May. I believe, like, May 28th, maybe it's gonna be towards the end of May, so if you fly with them and that's the reason you fly with them, I would definitely say make sure you get that stuff booked so that you are still under their current policy here, because that's going to be changing here come the springtime. Looks like it'll be in effect when summer vacation trips and people will be flying more. So if you didn't know that and you fly Southwest, now you know. Be prepared if it's after that point in time when that policy changes, you may have to pay. I don't know how much the bags are going to cost at this time. We're monitoring this story on here, but it looks like it's just kind of going in line with everything else. Everything is going up. A lot of the free perks and benefits that you get, that stuff is changing. And I think it just speaks to the state of the economy. So I don't know, what Southwest makes a year, if their sales and stuff has gone down, but it's no secret. The economy is definitely going through some things and people are just trying to survive right now. So if you don't have it to go on a vacation or trip, you're probably not out there flying because inflation is definitely made just even regular household items cost more than they have before, and I'm not even sure that that's going to be going down anytime soon. So people's disposable income is going down lower. But I also think that's the reason why you don't change that, because if that's what made Southwest appealing and made people fly on there, why would you get rid of one of the perks that helped your airline stand out? And it looks like I saw a post that Frontier Airline is offering a one free checked bag if you book a flight during a certain time frame. So I'm gonna look into that a little bit further and I'll post that on the page in case you may be interested. So this may open the door for another airline to come in and pick up what Southwest is not going to be doing anymore, to kind of get their name out there and their notoriety, because that's what really built Southwest. So if they stop and other people are going to come in, and they may give that other airline a chance to shine over them. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll keep an eye out on the story. Let me know if you fly Southwest. Leave a one in the comment if you fly Southwest, too, if you've never flown Southwest at all. Curious to see how many on here have. Let's take a little pause here. We got a new person in the house. Is it Kirsten? Let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hello, welcome. Appreciate you being here. And then we're going to talk about two astronauts were stuck up in space for a total of 286 days. I got to look up to see if that's the longest anybody's been in space, but their intent when they initially went there was only to be there for 8 days. So that's quite a bit more than what their original time frame was that they were going to be there. So let's talk a little backstory on this, and I'm getting this from the BBC here, and it says the two American astronauts that were there was Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, and they had left Earth in June of 2024 for an 8-day mission to test Boeing Starliner's capsule, but the capsule suffered technical issues, so NASA decided to keep them on the International Space Station and return the Starliner to Earth empty, so they didn't have a way to get back. We're going to do a little pause here. Alexandra, it's her birthday. Happy birthday. Thank you so much for stopping by here. Hope you're having a fabulous day. Got to do something fun. Let us know in the comments here if you did anything or got anything cool for your birthday. Thank you so much. And after that Starliner was returned back to Earth, that left those two astronauts in space stranded, so they pretty much didn't have a way to get back here to Earth. So I am curious. I got to dig into this more of what they ended up doing during that whole time there, because that's way more. That's 280 more, or what, 279, 278 more days than they expected to be there. Obviously they had enough food for the time frame, but I am curious on how they spent their time. So they recently came back to Earth, let's say a few days ago, and it was with the help of SpaceX and SpaceX capsule that helped them to come back to Earth here. So they are acclimating to being back here, and I'm gonna keep an eye out because I was seeing while I was doing some research, some articles about potential health issues that they'll experience getting acclimated back to being on Earth, because obviously space atmosphere is different than here on Earth. And I'm sure their legs are going to be a little bit weaker in their arms because there you're kind of weightless. But when you come back here to Earth, you have to deal with gravity. So I'm wondering if they need to like learn how to walk again and get comfortable with some of those things. So I imagine they'll probably be acclimating to being back on Earth for a little while before they reunite with their families. But we'll keep following this story to provide some updates. Let me know if you heard about that, if you had heard about them coming back to Earth, if you follow those types of stories. Let me know in the comments. And then we're going to go on over to Jonathan Majors and Megan Good. So Jonathan Majors was on a trajectory to be one of the top, I think, one of the top in acting, and he was in Marvel's Ant-Man 3 as Kang, and he did a great job. The movie itself was not good. I think it was one of the worst Marvel movies that I've ever seen. Leave a 1 in the chat if you liked Ant-Man 3. Leave a 2 in the chat if you thought it was garbage, it wasn't good. And leave a 3 in the chat if you've never watched Ant-Man 3. Curious to see what your thoughts are on that. But to me, that movie was not one of the better Ant-Man movies. The first 2 were way better than the third one. But Jonathan Majors did a good job in understanding that Marvel was going to be making a lot of movies centered around him. And then he had an unfortunate situation with his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari, where there was DV involved, and that side railed his career. So Marvel into $1 billion franchise right there. Most of the Avengers type movies, Avenger adjacent type movies did really well for Marvel, and it's still got a lot of cachet out here. So being associated with it, and of course Disney is a worldwide company. I mean, that is going to take your notoriety up a level. But also when you're associated with a company like Disney, they do have to be careful about their reputation and what they're associated with. So I understand why they had to make that decision, but it was unfortunate for Jonathan Majors, the timing and the situation that took place, because it really kind of took his trajectory in a different direction than it was initially going, because he was also in like Creed 3 or 4 with Michael B. Jordan. So I just remember that summer that the news had come out about the DV incident. He was, it was just one of his best years for movies. So I just thought, oh, that's terrible, to be at that point and then something like this happens. And it did end up going to trial. And during that time that he was going to trial, he was with Megan Good. So Megan Good was previously married. I believe her former husband was a minister. Uh, uh, he was something like that in the church, and then that relationship didn't end up working out, and they got divorced. And then she got together with Jonathan, and they got together around May of 2023. And she said that, family, friends were like, what are you doing? Why are you with him? Kind of question that because of everything that was coming out about him. But, obviously in her interaction, she saw something in him that she liked, and they are still together. And I have to admit, I did not think that relationship was going to last. They just did not seem like two people that would go together, fit together. But, they have definitely stood the test of time, and she stood by him during that trial. So I am very happy that they were able to make this solidified and got married. So she had informed in December, she let us know that Jonathan Majors had popped the question when they were in Paris. So I don't think he asked her in December, but that's when she talked about the proposal. And the couple got married on Tuesday of this week in a private and small ceremony at their Los Angeles home. So they didn't want to do something really big and have this whole big, kind of situation that was going on with it. They wanted to keep it more intimate, and I can respect that, especially with the different headlines and stories going on with Jonathan and people, making their comments about their relationship. I can respect that they didn't want to make it kind of a public thing. So kudos to them. I'm sure it was a beautiful ceremony. I haven't seen any photos or anything come from it. And it was even questionable of whether or not Megan was dating or dealing with Jonathan around the time that the whole incident occurred.